Man, Kelly Cheponis today is my guest, and you're going to be amazed at what this woman has done. She got her law degree and worked in corporate law and all these different things, which you're going to hear about in her attorney life, and then switched gears and became a real estate agent and a very successful one. So you're going to learn lots of good tips from her. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Real Estate Riches, where Kathy Byrnes empowers realtors to achieve the success they've always dreamed of. Starting her career at 55, Kathy built a thriving business that offers the freedom of time and financial independence. And now she's sharing her journey to help others do the same. Whether new to the industry or looking to level up, this channel is your hub for proven strategies, inspiring stories, and the tools you need to grow your real estate business. Join Kathy each week to explore global opportunities, successful systems, and expert insights to take your career to the next level. Get comfortable, pick a video, and start learning. Your journey to success starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and today my guest is Kelly Cheponis, and I'm really excited to have her on. We had some good insight before we got started here, and you're going to learn some good stuff. Hey Kelly, how are you?
Hi there. I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. So Kelly, tell us a little bit about you. You kind of intrigued me with an additional side profession that's nothing little. So talk about that.
Yes, so I am a licensed attorney. I graduated law school in 2012. I loved being an attorney at the district attorney's office. I started as a paralegal there. Then I went into the law firm setting and ended up in corporate law. But what I really learned about myself through law school in that process was I really love working with people, love contracts, love negotiating, and I'm an absolute workaholic. Corporate law definitely was not for me. So I did make the transition out of there and was a little, not lost. I would say I was just at a crossroads, where to go to next. I did take a non-traditional path out of law and into real estate just after a lot of soul searching and thinking about what I actually wanted to do with my life. And I'm really happy to be here. It's a perfect fit.
Wow, that's great. A lot of people are too scared to change. I mean, you had all that money invested, all that time invested, but it wasn't right. And so you walked away, and yet you have skills, right? You got skills from that
Yes.
that have been really beneficial. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a huge risk. There's no doubt about it. I was worried about what people would think about me.
Mm,
I didn't know a lot about the real estate world as a business. I knew about it as, an attorney and as a consumer.
mhm.
But I also knew it always intrigued me. But I knew it was going to shake things up in my world. And it was a risk. It was a risk for myself, for my family, but I had their support. And I just took it day by day, and it worked out. I could not be any happier. This was, like I said, a perfect fit. And now my clients get the benefit of my education, and no one can take education away from you. I will never regret the time I spent earning that degree. Just so much knowledge. And it also trains you just to work very hard, to be a goal setter, that whole experience taught me so much. So yeah, no, I'm glad it led me here. It was a wild ride, but it was where I needed to be.
Yeah, and that's courageous. A lot of people need to hear that story. I've started life over so many times, but my last time was at 55 when I walked away from a life that didn't serve me. I moved to a whole different state. I was dead broke and started life over. And you know what? I was giddy about it. So I wasn't afraid. And 55 is a tough time to start over, but hey, it
Yes,
worked out.
that's awesome. Yeah, I was about 30 years old when this happened and I had little kids.
Oh,
I mean, it makes me like emotional to think about that time, but that's why I'm successful. And I'm sure that's why you are, because if you aren't afraid, I always say aren't afraid to fail, I felt like a failure, like when leaving law a little bit, I was like, are people going to see me as a failure, but it was that realization that this wasn't right, and I wasn't happy. And
Mhm.
when I really took that soul searching time and figured out what I wanted to do, now I'm actually happy. And
Yeah,
happiness, brings personal success,
yeah,
like it's not about money or any of that or transactions. It's about like my clients being happy, I'm happy, my family's happy. Like
yeah.
how many people can say that? So
Right?
it's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I love this story. And it's very inspirational to a lot of people. I've been interviewed a lot in my past that share your story. We don't even understand how you did it. And I'm thinking it was no big deal to me. For me, I didn't care what other people left. And also, I left a whole state behind. So they didn't, and the new people I met, I felt invisible when I moved to a new state. I
Yeah.
remember walking around saying, I feel invisible. No one knows me. No one's judging me, nothing, because they don't know. They don't know anything. And it was liberating. And it did take me a while to make some money. So that was challenging. But you know what? I'm a Christian gal and I just had faith.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I pray every day, but I'm very thankful and I give thanks. But like during that time, it was a risk, but faith in just faith in general, being prayerful, faith in yourself, faith in your family, and just let that guide you. But that's really awesome that you were able to step out. I mean, I know you said you weren't afraid what people thought of you. I mean, now, almost a decade later, I don't care as much, I would say,
Yes.
but back then I did. And Pittsburgh's it's a small town.
Yeah.
I've never lived anywhere else. I've been here since I was like 4. So
Oh, wow.
3.5. So yeah, I'm a Pittsburgher and everywhere you go, somebody.
Hmm.
And that to me, instead of feeling judged, I felt really supported by my community. I was shocked like how many people were intrigued by the change and they support me online and they call and reach out. I mean, that's again what makes you successful in this industry is support of people,
Yeah. Yeah.
community. So
I love
I've never
that.
been invisible. Maybe someday I'll move and get another license. Who knows?
Well, you know what? I think that people need to feel a part of that is age too. You know, when we're 30, we're at a whole different mindset. But by you were way ahead of your time because you did soul searching, and a lot of people don't do that. Like for me to soul search, because I walked away from a very large lifestyle to nothing, broke. And so, but I knew that it didn't serve me. I wasn't happy in any aspect of my life with it. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I better do it now, while I can, and I'll figure it out. And that's the thing about you, too. You have a lot of grit just because you went through law school, you became an attorney, you worked in corporate law. That's not easy. All of that, your inner self knew, I did that, I can do this.
Yes.
Mhm.
I always said that. And I did evening school and had a baby in law school. So
Get
it
out.
was just, I always said, if I get through this, and I did with a big smile on my face, I love that time of my life. So,
Yeah.
hard work just means more opportunities.
Does. And you just failed forward. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You didn't know if you were going to make it, but I'll bet you did know deep down, I got this.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
matter what. There was no way I was going to stop until I figured out what I was meant to do. That
Yeah.
was for sure.
Yeah. That's a big deal. So now you do luxury, you do first time home buyers, and in my mind, luxury is a different price point in my territory. So I'm thinking first time home buyers and luxury in the 5-10 million area. Wow, that's pretty impressive. But
Yeah.
yours, not every town has the same price point for luxury. And you were tell us a little bit about luxury in your area.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh's consistently rated the most affordable city, most livable city to live.
Wow.
And, it's absolutely true. I mean, our luxury market, it starts around 850,000
Mm,
and it's pretty rare to see a $5 million house, not going to lie. My largest sale last year was 1.725 million and that was huge for my school district, 1.7
right.
million. You just don't see so much. But what you're seeing in Pittsburgh is, we've seen some increases, obviously steady increases. Now we're seeing more people who can afford that luxury, if you will, the $1 million plus, you're seeing a lot of younger people who are coming out of schools with great jobs or family support, and just people moving from other parts of the country to take advantage of this affordability, low taxes where I live, so
Ooh.
low. So yeah, I mean, the luxury market around $1 million for us, that's where it is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see a castle tomorrow. That's around 3.9 million with acreage. And then I
Ooh.
have, a $3.5 million home with a horse barn and guest homes and lots of acreage, but you're not really seeing those major prices like you are across the country.
Well, it sounds like you've got some nice ones there, and I like it that
Yeah.
you're looking at them.
Oh, unbelievable homes.
Yeah.
Huge. It's also just such a beautiful place to live because you have the rolling hills,
Mm.
lots of hiking, woods, golf courses. I mean, it's a beautiful place to live in great weather, I will say.
Where are people moving from to you?
Oh gosh. So we get a lot of people moving for jobs, whether it's medicine or oil and gas industry is huge up here. So we got a lot of
Oh,
people from Texas, the Floridians. They always come
yeah.
up. It's a popular place for them to retire, actually. You have the snowbird situation.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people, Texas is huge. New York, a lot of people from there, Florida. And then I do have some folks, a lot of West Coast people are moving. This year alone, I have 3 clients coming from the West. So,
Wow.
yeah, Arizona, Oregon, California.
Hmm.
So, in those prices, and also the risk, I think people with home insurance these days, with
Yeah.
all of the volatility there,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, good weather, low prices, low cost of living, so
Yeah.
we're seeing a lot of people migrate here.
Yeah. That's great. So beforehand, we were talking about how you do social media and you get a fair amount of your business from social media. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, so I love social media. It's a free billboard, if you will. My first advice to people is do what makes you feel comfortable. And for me, I don't have business pages, I just have my personal pages.
Me too.
It's the
Totally
best
agree.
way to connect with people. They can see your likes, your interests, what you're doing in the world. And this is what's important, being able to connect with people authentically, having that authentic conversation through a camera, but it's like you're face to face,
Yeah. Yeah.
People want to hear what you have to say. And I was shocked, at first that people actually watch these videos. And I try to keep it, I don't want to annoy people. I try to time it appropriately, but it's just the conversation, the connection. So just, talking to people, doing a selfie video, but then also I invest heavily in photos, videos, the reels, the drones,
Mhm.
that's very important in today's,
Yeah.
that's how you
Oh,
sell a house.
I agree. I was just on a photo shoot today. This house is 1 million too.
Nice.
And but it's an older house. It's a 1999 house. And around here, it's a usually way newer than that.
Yes.
So, but it's in a popular area in Charlotte, right in it's called
Mm,
Midtown. So it's right Plaza Midwood. And it's right in the middle of Charlotte and it's walking distance. The houses are tight together, which I'm up at the lake, so it's a whole different feel, and the houses up here are newer, although I live in a 1949 house. Um,
nice.
but it was unique in the sense, and lots of trees, very beautiful because it's matured. It's lots of matured landscaping. So when you walk down the street, it's all kinds of big trees, lots of color and feel to it, right?
Yeah.
And the photographer says, "Man, I'm going to have a tough time getting the shot of the front of this house." I said, "I know."
Oh,
He goes, "So I'm going to take a drone and kind of fly up to that front porch because the front porch is what really makes it on the front of
yes.
that house." And so, but the photography is amazing. Now, where I dropped the ball and I want to tell everybody about is when he was there doing that photography, I should have been taking videos of him doing it
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's the B-roll that we need to have and talk about what we were just doing today because then
Right.
they see us in action. I'm kicking myself I didn't do that, darn it.
And it's fun. It's like a TV show. People are always on
Yeah.
their phones. I shoot my videos vertically now because people are they're on their phones. They want to see it. But, you know, obviously word of mouth is so important, but social media has become that water cooler talk, that place where we all gather after church. You know, and my grandma used to show all the pictures and talk with her friends. That's now Facebook and Instagram and
Yeah,
TikTok. And, you know, for better or worse, it's, yeah, I like being out there. It's good
yeah,
to connect with people.
I
So
do.
I love that. Yeah. Hey, and if you ever have a Great Lake house, let me know because I have a lot of buyers going down to the Carolinas.
Ooh,
Okay.
girl, I got lake houses. That's what I specialize in. I'm a waterfront
Okay.
specialist.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad we're talking because Pittsburghers, they love going down to the Carolinas.
Ooh, great. Matter of fact, one came on today. So I've been watching, I have my MLS set up that gives me my target market of who I want to work, right?
Yes.
So I have the MLS set up to show me. I just reduced the number, which I was surprised that something would pull up. I said I want waterfronts starting at 700 to 20 million. And believe it or not, there was a 25 million on the lake here. This is a man-made lake, which is bizarre to me that anyone would spend that kind of money on a man-made lake, which gets cloudy when it rains. It's a little scary because I'm from Michigan and our lakes are clean.
Yes.
And so anyway, this house came up for 779 today. It was a little 1969 ranch, brick ranch on the water, nice views. And
Wow.
this gal had said to me the other day, I'm looking for one, and one popped up for 800 and it was gone in a nanosecond.
Yeah.
I said, girl, this one's coming soon. If you want to take action, it's either cash, I need proof of funds, or you better get pre-qualified immediately because there's probably going to be multiple
Yep.
offers. So
Yeah.
that's a rare bird, but I got you covered if you need any waterfronts down here.
Sounds like it's a hot market like Pittsburgh. I mean, if it's on longer than a few days, you have to wonder what's going on with the house, you know?
Right. How'd you price it?
Yeah.
What's going on? And I use AI a lot in my pricing in oddball neighborhoods because the waterfront is very different here. I can be a trailer and a 5,000 square foot home, maybe two little cottages, a 9,000 square foot home, all on the same street in a row. How do you comp that? You know what I mean?
Right.
And all could have different water views, different depth of water, different kind of dock. You start here where you come from the water in. It's interesting.
That is
But
interesting.
but AI can really help. And I do a lot with AI. I teach a class, so if anybody wants to know my class,
Yeah.
jump in and it's free. So I want to help realtors really connect with this because
Mhm.
our world's rapidly changing and you need AI. And it's a great tool once you get used to it.
Yeah, you know, you have to use all the tools. That's correct. So I definitely am open to learning about it. I don't think it's going to replace agents or lawyers. You know, that's what everyone's always afraid of or talking about. To me, we're in the people industry, we're the service industry. But if there's something that can make my day a little smoother, I'm open to hear about it.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. What else did I want to talk to you about? Oh, like where people are moving from. We talked about that a little in the beginning, you and me, because I want agents to start thinking about where their buyers coming from and
Mhm.
how do they target their listing to that buyer. And you and I talked and you said Texas because oil and gas, it's big in your area. Florida because if they moved up north, they go and cook down in Florida and they realize they want to come halfway back in New York, and also a few from out west because your taxes are low, right?
Yep, low taxes, big houses, fair prices. So yeah, that's for sure. But the other aspect is so many Pittsburghers want to stay. So,
Mm,
you know, like I said, I've been here since I was 3.5. My aunts live here, 7 minutes from my parents' house.
mm,
That's a big thing. So one of your biggest markets is just your neighbors
yeah,
because if they are what we call, you know, right sizing, for instance, going from their forever home to maybe their retirement patio home, like that's huge. The 55 and over, we can't have enough because so many
mm,
people are just sticking here, staying here, and then all their kids, all their grandkids,
yeah,
everyone is sticking around, plus all the people traveling here. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's a good, nice seller's market here.
So tell me how, because it's a small town, it's probably easy to stay connected.
Yes.
And you mentioned that you post on a personal page versus a business page, which I totally agree with and love because it brings in who you are. Your kids can be on there, your passions of what you do on your fun time. They get to see the whole person, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's other ways to connect too,
Yeah.
golf, the kids, vacations, they want to know who you are.
Yeah. Because once they feel like they know you, then they like you and then they trust you and they'll do business with you.
And that's the fact of the matter. I mean, you can't have thin skin in this industry. When
Mm.
you're interviewing for a listing appointment, it's an interview. And your persona online, when they're Googling you, when they're looking at you on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever it is, that's who you are.
Yeah.
And it's important in this industry to have a good partnership, client and agent, because
Yeah.
we're a team and you want to mesh and there's someone for everybody, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if you really get to know someone and you see their authentic self online and you see real reviews and you're seeing the value this person brings to society, I mean, it makes you feel better about hiring someone, I
Yeah.
feel, you
Yeah.
know?
I totally agree. Well,
Yeah.
Kelly, this has been great. Tell me if you got any other tips for agents out there on how to do their business better, because a lot of agents are struggling.
Yeah. So my advice is just work hard, keep your head down and get to work. A lot of times you see offices are empty. You see the same 3 people out of 50 agents every day, or you hear people complaining about the market. Don't complain about the market. The market there's always work. We are in this market. Let's be positive about whatever it is.
I love that.
Nothing beats hard work. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciated having you on here today.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. I enjoyed getting to know you. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. So that's it. Wasn't she outstanding? I'm sure you got some nuggets in there for your business. So we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. And let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.